response to Jimmy Kimmel's tasteless, heartless savagery. He has been fired by Donald Trump and FCC Chairman Brendan Carr. They pressured ABC into getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel, and rightfully so, I say. Indeed. This man's free speech has flown too high.
It has the juice?
Trigger warning, he will be mentioning Charlie Kirk in this, and it's just disgusting stuff. Just terrible if you haven't seen it yet. Shield your children in your eyes. I know we can get a little edgy on this stream. We can get a little crass, but nothing is going to prepare you for what's about to come out of Jimmy Kimmel's mouth.
Trump's buddy will have them instead. At least it's somebody we can trust, though, right? We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
You're right. God, this is a scathing criticism of the president and of Charlie Kirk, both.
Yes, that's right. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. There's demolition, construction.
Sick. And listen to them clap.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay? And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom.
Why is it always about the ballroom?
At the White House.
Right? Why?
They don't have a ballroom. They have to use tents on the lawn for President Xi when he comes over.
He cares way more about this than anything else. It's obvious that he doesn't give a fuck.
If it rains, it's a wipeout. And so I was with the architects that would design. It's going to be incredible. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, what do you mean dead? Charlie Kirk was shot. And they thought he was dead because it was so horrific, Mm-hmm. And I said, dead.
Are we not supposed to think that he's kind of a goofy guy? God, if he wasn't harmless, he could just be a funny buffoon we have on TV. But instead they were like, what if we give this funny buffoon real access to power? What if we really let him harm people instead of just putting him on TV? Nah. America is too fucking dumb, I think. I wish we were smarter. I wish we were better. That is what got him fired. So the president, who has always hated Jimmy Kimmel because of his criticism towards Donald Trump, and really that's what it is. The criticism of Donald Trump in this, it runs throughout. He didn't like that. But they're like pressuring ABC, Sinclair Media. They're pressuring them to fire Jimmy Kimmel because of the Charlie Kirk mention, I guess. That was it.
When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump, that's all they do. If you go back, I guess they haven't had a conservative on in years or something, somebody said. But when you go back and you take a look, all they do is hit Trump. They're licensed. They're not allowed to do that. They're an arm of the Democrat Party.
They are literally allowed to take aim at Trump. What do you mean they're not allowed to? They are quite literally allowed to criticize Donald Trump. When you have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump, they're not allowed to do that. They are. It's ridiculous. Legal experts say pulling Jimmy Kimmel from air may amount to illegal jawboning. I would say so. I can't... Look, okay, this is the part of the video. It's an obligatory as a leftist. I have to let you know I don't like Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch him. Okay? He's my least favorite YouTuber. As liberals go, hell yeah, dude. I don't think the president or the chair of the FCC should be able to pressure anybody out of a job. I don't care if they're at a network. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. The fact that Sinclair Media is allowing themselves to be bullied by Trump isn't really bullying. Like it's a collusion thing, right? Like it's pretty clear the Sinclair media is going to be like, yeah, we don't want to be able to criticize Trump. We're gonna just start a process where we can basically give Donald Trump the ability to can people, or the Trump administration to fire people if they don't like what they're saying. This is, I mean, explicitly a violation of the First Amendment in every sense of the word. I have no problem if ABC independently wanted to can Jimmy Kimmel, but it's not over this. I mean, this is ridiculous. I don't think a jury would hold up to this. I think they violated his contract. I mean, this is just, it's sick shit. It reminds me, I mean, of stories you hear of not to do it again, but like Goebbels fucking firing people because they were, you know, too critical of the Nazi party. Like, this is, and he's not. What Jimmy Kimmel said is like the most milquetoast, least extreme thing I've heard on the subject. It's like he clearly just doesn't like Jimmy Kimmel and was mad about it. And someone, probably Stephen Miller or someone like that, whispered in his ear and was like, hey, we can get this guy out of here, I think, right now. I think the temperature is right. I think we can use and leverage Charlie Kirk's death to do things. And that's what they're doing right now. We'll see if will Chuck Schumer just lie and take it? Probably. First Amendment scholar Evelyn Duick watched the news unfold of ABC yanking Jimmy Kimmel from the air and was aghast, said the hypocrisy is enough to give one vertigo. It's shocking to her because she's a close watcher of what's known as jawboning, when regulators or government officials pressure private actors like a social media company or broadcast network to stifle speech. The libertarian Cato Institute calls the practice censorship by proxy. And I mean, that's exactly what it is. For years, Republicans excoriated social media platforms over their belief that the Biden administration overly pressured Twitter and Facebook to remove COVID misinformation. It spurred a constant drumbeat of online attacks, congressional subpoenas, and hearings in Washington. Where I land on is I don't care if a person independently, like a guy on the street, is like misinforming. Like, what I don't like is people making profit, because that's where the problems happen. The Republicans live on misinformation. It's their whole thing. We shouldn't allow anybody to misinform. The problem with this is that, of course, since the government is made of people, all you have to do is redefine misinformation into something else and or frame something in a way that is as misinformation, and then you can just wield it as a fucking cudgel. So it's like impossible to fucking regulate while you have evil people afoot. Like, we just have to crack down specifically on like what we all acknowledge as real misinformation. I mean, just we shouldn't allow it. We're very deep into this, though. It spurred a constant drumbeat of online attacks, congressional subpoenas, and hearings in Washington. Now the Trump administration Federal Communications Commission appears to have bullied ABC into dropping Kimmel. She's a professor at Stanford Law School. She said it makes social media companies' removal of COVID-related posts at the request of the government officials gentle by comparison. The Kimmel episode followed CBS's cancellation of Stephen Colbert's Late Show, which, by the way, I feel like someone should get both of them on the same network. HBO could use both of them. It would go hard if they were if they could be a little less liberal. I don't know if either of them lean further left. I think of the two of them, Stephen Colbert seems more willing to talk about stuff in a fiery way. I don't know that he's a leftist by any stretch, but I think he's to some degree a progressive. They're probably all capitalists, of course. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr, who in 2020 called political satire one of the, quote, oldest and most important forms of speech, wrote on X Thursday that broadcast stations have, quote, long retained the right to not air national programs that they believe are inconsistent with the public interest, including their local communities' values. This is like a massive project that the right wing has been on for years, decades. Sinclair Media Group and others like it that are buying up local news, buying up, things like ABC, the conglomerates, and forcing one type of specific politics into the consciousness of your communities. The reason that you see so much of the same shit is this Sinclair Media Group shit. Like, have you ever seen those compilations of videos where they're like stacked up all the different newscasts are stacked up next to each other, and they're all saying the same thing. It's exactly what's happening now. They just repeat the same shit over and over. Let me see if I can find a clip for you.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble and trending irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some
Yep.
use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
I agree. It's extremely dangerous to our democracy. So they use these words to try to throw you off the scent because they know it does that. They like that. They don't like democracy. They want what they consider meritocracy, really autocracy, kleptocracy, aristocracy.
this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Propaganda, man. Let's look at this.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 It is. That's pretty true. When control of media and tech are in the hands of a handful of companies, it becomes easier for authoritarian leaders to control them. That's crazy. I wonder if the leftists have been talking about this for a while. Luckily, I'm not one of them, and neither is anyone in this chat. I've never met a leftist in my life. We are all, of course, hardcore MAGA. Sinclair says it will air a 1-hour tribute to Charlie Kirk instead of Jimmy Kimmel Live. And here's their statement on it. They have decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live. Following discussions, they suspended production of it. Mr. Kimmel's remarks were inappropriate and deeply insensitive at a critical moment in our country, said Vice Chairman Jason Smith. We believe broadcasters have a responsibility to educate and elevate respectful, constructive dialogue in our communities. We appreciate FCC Chairman Carr's remarks today, and this incident highlights the critical need for the SEC to take immediate regulatory action to address control held over local broadcasters by the big national networks. We must consolidate our power over speech. Sinclair's ABC stations will air a special remembrance of Charlie Kirk. He died? Wait, shut up. Charlie Kirk died? I don't believe it. Sinclair will not lift the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live on our stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. Sinclair also called upon Mr. Kimmel to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family, which he refused to do. It's illegal to be mean to me. That's right. I'm too special. I'm too snowflakes. You can't be mean to me. I'm Donald Trump. He's a good guy. Cannot be mean to him. He's just a little fella. It'd be sad to be mean to such an old guy, you know? Why are there so many dumb people now? A lack of funding in education. Definitely that.